Today, we're tackling something I think everyone struggles with at some point, that feeling when you just want to give up. When your motivation just seems to vanish. Could be a big project, a personal goal, maybe just getting through the week.
Absolutely.
So in this deep dive, we're looking at how to stay motivated when you feel like giving up, based on the sources you sent over. And we're not just aiming for a quick burst of inspiration here.
No, not at all.
We want to really understand the mechanics of, sustained drive.
And it's crucial to start by saying that wanting to give up, that's completely human. It's not a sign of weakness.
That's reassuring to hear.
It is. Motivation, well, it naturally goes up and down. Our brains are kind of wired to avoid difficulty, seek comfort.
The path of least resistance.
Exactly. So when things get tough, that urge to quit is pretty natural. But these moments, they're often critical turning points, They really test your commitment to long-term goals.
That's a great way to frame it. Like our survival brain saying, too hard, abort.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack this. When we hit that wall, what are the common culprits? What are the big roadblocks the sources highlight?
Well, looking at the material, a few things pop up again and again. First, there's burnout.
Ah, yes.
And this isn't just feeling tired, it's like deep emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion, usually from pushing too hard for too long without enough rest. You've basically run out of fuel.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
Then there's the fear of failure. That's a huge one.
Oh, yeah.
That anxiety about maybe not being good enough or failing where others can see.
That can be absolutely paralyzing, can't it? Sometimes feels safer not to even try.
Precisely. And linked to that is the frustration of lack of progress.
Right. You feel like you're spinning your wheels.
Exactly. You're putting in the effort day after day, but you're not seeing the results you hope for. It makes you doubt everything, the effort, your skills.
Yeah, that's incredibly demotivating.
Very. And another big one, especially today, is comparison with others.
Oh, tell me about it. Social media.
Right. You scroll through feeds, see everyone else's apparent successes, their highlight reels. It's so easy to feel like you're falling behind or just not measuring up.
That highlight reel effect is so real. We forget we're comparing our messy reality to their curated best moments.
You really do. Then there's negative self-talk.
The inner critic.
That little voice whispering, you can't do this, or you're just not cut out for this. It chips away at your confidence.
It really does.
Also, having no clear goal, if you're not really sure what you're aiming for or why, it's incredibly hard to stay focused. Like trying to navigate without a destination.
You just drift.
You do. And finally, a big one is lack of support. Feeling like you're going it alone without anyone cheering you on or understanding the struggle, that can be really isolating and draining.
Wow, okay. I bet quite a few of those hit home for you, our listener, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's like a checklist of common struggles. But, okay, identifying the problems is one thing. What do we do about it? What are the psychological shifts, the kind of mental recalibrations the sources suggest for building resilience?
Right. This is where it gets really interesting. Because our mindset can shift from being the problem to being our biggest ally. One powerful shift is learning to reframe failure.
How so?
Instead of seeing it as like the end of the road or some judgment on you as a person, you start to see it as a learning opportunity. Data.
Like the Thomas Edison quote.
Exactly. I didn't fail. I found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's the mindset. It's information, not a final verdict.
That sounds simple, but I know, for me at least, failure can feel so personal. Like it proves something negative about me.
Yeah.
How do the sources say we actually make that shift? It's more than just a quote, right?
That's a really important point. It's not just about saying the words. It starts with consciously separating the outcome from your identity. A failed attempt doesn't make you a failure. The core idea, often discussed, is cultivating a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset.
Explain that difference again.
Sure. Fixed mindset means you believe your abilities are, well, fixed, set in stone. So a setback confirms you're just not good enough.
Ouch.
Yeah. But with a growth mindset, you believe you can improve through effort, through learning, through tackling challenges. So failure becomes part of the process, not proof you should stop.
So the belief itself fuels the persistence.
Precisely. It helps you see the learning and growing as the win, which leads to the next key shift. Focus on the process, not just the outcome.
Because the outcome might be miles away.
Exactly. It can feel impossibly distant sometimes. So learning to appreciate, or at least focus on, the daily steps, the small actions you're taking today, that's crucial for staying in the game long term.
Okay, that's where it gets really interesting for me. changing how we see things, not just what we do. So once we start making these mental shifts, what are the practical, everyday things we can actually do? How do we turn this mindset into action?
Okay, let's get into the actionable strategies. The sources lay out about 10 really effective ones. First, break down your goals.
Chunk it down.
Exactly. Big goals feel overwhelming, so divide them into small, manageable tasks. And this is important. Celebrate each small win. That little hit of accomplishment builds momentum.
I like that. Okay, what's next?
Second, remember your why. Why did you start this in the first place? Write it down. Stick it on your monitor, your mirror, make your phone lock screen. Keep it visible.
The anchor. When things get tough, that why pulls you back.
It really can. Third, visualize success.
Okay, some people hear that and think it's a bit, like just wishful thinking. How do the sources explain why it works?
That's a fair question. It's not magic, it's more like mental rehearsal. The sources often point to brain science here. When you vividly imagine achieving your goal, feeling the success, it actually activates similar areas in your brain, like the motor cortex, as actually doing the thing.
Just like practicing in your head.
Pretty much. It builds neural pathways, makes the real action feel more familiar, less intimidating. The key is making it vivid, multisensory. Really feel it.
Got it. Vivid visualization. What's number 4?
Fourth, practice self-compassion. This is huge. Talk to yourself like you'd talk to a friend who's struggling. Don't beat yourself up for feeling tired or unmotivated. It happens to everyone.
Be kind to yourself.
Okay, 5. Fifth, develop a daily routine and discipline. Here's the thing. Motivation waxes and wanes. It's unreliable. But routine, discipline, that keeps you moving forward even when you don't feel like it. It builds the habit.
Right. Discipline is what you do when motivation takes the day off. It's the bridge.
Couldn't have said it better. Okay, 6th, track your progress.
Seeing how far you've come.
Yes. Use a journal, an app, whatever works. Seeing those past wins, even small ones, stacking up, that can be a massive confidence boost when you feel stuck.
Makes sense. Number 7.
7, remove distractions. Seems obvious, but it's critical. Set up a clear workspace. Limit time on things that pull you away, like social media or side tasks that aren't moving the needle.
Create focus.
Yeah. 8, change your environment. Sometimes just a small physical shift can create a mental one. Go outside for a bit, walk a different route, work from a coffee shop for an hour. It can shake things up and bring clarity.
A change of scenery, a change of mind. 9.
9th, talk to someone. Don't bottle it up. Connect with a friend, a mentor, a coach, maybe a therapist. Just talking about the struggle can lighten the load and often brings new perspectives.
Connection is key. And the last one, number 10.
10, get regular inspiration input. Actively seek out things that motivate you. Watch talks, listen to podcasts like this one, read stories of people who overcame challenges. What you feed your mind really does shape your thoughts.
That's a fantastic list. Really practical stuff. And it feels like you can just pick 1 or 2 to start with right away, can't you?
Absolutely. Small steps.
So thinking about consistency, what about the longer-term habits? The things that kind of protect our motivation, like an ongoing shield.
Yeah, connecting this to the bigger picture, it's about building those foundational habits that really support you long term. They create resilience. For instance, gratitude journaling.
How does that help motivation?
It shifts your focus. Instead of dwelling on what's wrong or what you lack, you actively notice what's working, what you do have. It fosters positivity. Another one is having morning rituals.
Setting the tone for the day.
Exactly. Even something simple can ground you. Focus your mindset right from the start.
Okay, what else?
Physical exercise. We can't overstate this one. It's not just for your body. It boosts dopamine and serotonin, natural mood and motivation chemicals in your brain.
The feel-good chemicals.
Right. Also, meditation or mindfulness. These practices help reduce anxiety, quiet the mental noise, and bring clarity when things feel overwhelming.
Getting centered. Makes sense.
A healthy sleep cycle is absolutely fundamental, too. Poor sleep impacts everything: energy, mood, focus, decision-making. It's foundational for motivation.
Sleep is non-negotiable.
Got it.
Anything else?
And finally, limit multitasking. Try to focus on one thing at a time. It actually leads to better quality work, less feeling of being overwhelmed, and more satisfaction when you complete something.
Interesting. So focusing more intensely on one thing is better than juggling 5.
Often, yes, for sustained effort and satisfaction.
So these habits aren't just about hitting goals, are they? They're really about overall well-being.
Completely. Taking care of yourself in these ways builds a strong buffer, a protective layer for your drive and resilience.
Okay, but let's be real. Even doing all this,
Yeah.
Sometimes that urge to just quit, to just throw in the towel, it can still hit hard.
Yeah.
What do the sources say about those moments when you still feel that strong pull?
It definitely still happens. And the advice then is, first consider taking a short break. Notice I said short, not a permanent exit. Step away, get some distance, maybe just for an hour or a day. Gain perspective.
A strategic pause, not a full stop.
Exactly. Second, it might be time to reevaluate the goal itself. Is this truly your goal? Or is it something you feel you should want, maybe because of external pressure? Sometimes that internal conflict is the real source of the drag.
That's a deep question to ask. Is this really mine?
It is. And if that feeling of wanting to give up is persistent, overwhelming, if it feels like maybe depression or chronic stress is playing a role, it's really important to seek professional help. Talking to a therapist or a doctor is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Absolutely crucial. Don't try to tough out serious mental health struggles alone.
Definitely not. And one more thing. Sometimes the answer isn't quitting, but pivoting.
Changing direction slightly.
Right. Adjusting your approach or maybe even the specific goal without abandoning the underlying intention or the journey altogether. Maybe the path needs a tweak.
That idea of pivoting instead of quitting feels really powerful. It allows for adaptation, recognizes that growth isn't always linear. But this brings up a big question. If you manage not to give up, if you push through or pivot effectively, what's on the other side? What are the actual rewards, the possibilities that open up?
The payoff of persistence. It's significant. First, immense personal growth. Every time you navigate difficulty, you build mental toughness, resilience, confidence. You learn what you're capable of.
You get stronger.
Definitely. Second, often better opportunities appear. Why? Because so many people quit just before things turn around. Sticking with it often puts you in the right place at the right time.
Interesting. Persistence itself creates opportunity.
You really can. Third, you develop genuine self-respect. There's a deep inner pride that comes from knowing you stayed true to your commitment, even when it was incredibly hard.
That quiet sense of accomplishment.
Yes. Fourth, your journey might end up inspiring others. People notice persistence. Your struggle and your follow-through could motivate someone else who's close to giving up.
Your story matters.
It does. And finally, and this is maybe the biggest one, sustained effort leads to life transformation. Small, consistent steps, taken over time, compound. They create massive change, often in ways you couldn't even imagine at the start.
Wow. That's a compelling list of reasons to keep going. So bringing this all together for you, our listener, we've covered a lot. Why we feel like quitting, those mental shifts, practical strategies, long-term habits. What's the core takeaway?
I think the sources boil it down beautifully. The final thought that really resonates is this. Motivation is not a magical force. It's a daily decision.
It's a choice we make again and again.
Exactly.
And that feels empowering, doesn't it? It's not about waiting for some lightning bolt of inspiration. When you feel like giving up, the advice is simple. Pause, breathe, reflect, and then just take one small step forward.
Just one step.
You don't have to conquer the mountain today. Sometimes just choosing not to quit, just taking that single step when every fiber wants to stop, that's the victory.
That's the win for that day.
So maybe something for you to think about today. What's one tiny step you can take, even if you really don't feel like it? What could that small act of choosing persistence, choosing not to quit today, unlock for you down the road?